first thing you do is shut off the water. Then you flush it and hold it open while you flush it so everything possible drains out of the tank. Then you get a little cup and you scoop everything out of the tank you can, scoop everything out of the bowl you can until you can't get any more out. Then the next thing you do is have to get a rag, keep putting it down there, get it all wet, wring it out, do the same with the tank. After we get them both completely dry as possible, we'll be back. Okay, crescent wrench. Take the nuts off of each side. So I've taken those nuts off and I've taken the water and unhooked it. This is the water supply line. It's just a simple little plastic nut that screws onto the bottom of the tank. It's usually not on there very tight, and you just take that off and then you're ready to pull the toilet. Now, pulling the toilet, we're gonna get a piece of cardboard or something here, and I'm just gonna lift it right straight up like that. And there's your wax ring right there. That's what we're gonna replace, but we're gonna set the toilet down, tip it over up onto the tank so I can look up underneath. Okay, sometimes when you're up against it and there's only one way to get it out, of course it causes a little damage, but you can fix that afterwards if you're careful. Now, here it is. Okay, we got it out, and we went to Home Depot, and I've got some glue. We'll be able to put this back together. So once I get the glue dried and I get everything put back together, we'll pick it up back in the house. Okay, it's gonna take me a little bit to figure out where everything went, but I'll get her done and we'll pick it up in the house. But that's our culprit, so we did win. Okay, one thing I forgot before we while the glue is drying, I put the toilet back together, but before we put the new wax ring on, you have to make sure, get yourself a good putty knife and scrape off the old wax ring. Get it really clean, because you cannot set a toilet back on this old ring. It will not seat. Do not try it. Always replace the wax ring. And so this one, this old one, is just like the new one. It had this sleeve in it, so you pull that off of there. I'd either have some gloves on or just make sure you're real talented like me. And you get all this off. You'll have some underneath your toilet too, but I've already cleaned that off before I got the sponge out, so that way it wouldn't be difficult. You might want to go ahead at this time and take your screws out, your bolts out. They're easy to do, just like that. Some of them like this have a little spring-loaded thing on them, but you'll see, like this one, get that off of there. This just slides in there. It's got that spring-loaded clip, but you just push it all the way into the center. Now these are still good, so I can still reuse those, because your new ones will be long and you'll end up having to take a hacksaw to cut them off in order to put your bolt caps back on. So in order to not have to worry about that, I will just reuse these because they're in good shape. You might take and, clean some of the wax off, but that's it. We'll be back when it's ready to put together. Okay, you can see this new wax ring. It's got a flange on it, so you do your best to center that. You can see the holes and the bolts, everything's clean. Something I forgot to mention earlier, in case you want to clean your floor really well, in case there was caulking left from the toilet when you pulled it up. So I scraped this off, dried it off, made sure it's all nice and clean. So now we are ready to set the toilet. Now I'm a little impatient. My glue hasn't totally dried, so I had to put some tape on it just to hold it in place, because I don't want it coming apart, but I want to go ahead and get this set. Luckily my daughter had some tape that just happens to match her towels, so not exactly what I would usually use, but she likes it, so I'm good with it. It'll hold everything in place until that glue sets. So, and what the heck, if I forget to take it off, it matches the towels. It's not a guy thing, okay? Don't hold it against me. But now the hard part. You gotta eyeball the bolts and get the toilet set in place, okay? A little bit of muscle helps. Right about like that on that side, right about there. And then once you're on top of the wax rings, your bolts are in place, then push down. You're pushing on that wax. Keep pushing. That wax is spreading out and sealing until finally you can feel it's solid on the floor. I took the toilet seat off and cleaned everything really well. I mean, if you got it off, you might as well scrub it up good. We got the hard water stuff off and everything, so it's like brand new. And make sure it's straight with the back wall. See, I had to turn that just a little bit. Looks good. Now, what's left, I didn't have to use these new bolts because the old ones were fine. So what I'm gonna do, I will go ahead and use the new nuts off of them. Wing nuts are really nice. I'll just put one on, and then I can even use the old washers. They're fine because I don't like this new one didn't come with washers, and I prefer that. So I'm going to just put the washer on there. And you got to be careful that you don't over tighten these, or you'll end up with your glue back out trying to glue this thing back together. So get it down good and snug, but be careful, especially if you use a regular nut and a crescent wrench. You don't want to over tighten it. Get it snug. Your toilet's going to sit pretty good. And when you're done, of course, you're going to caulk along here too. But we'll be back when I got everything put back together. Okay, finished product. We've got the bolts put down good and snug. Got the caps on, as you can see. Toilet lid back in place. If you want to come over here, we went ahead and thought, get rid of that old gray one, put a nice metal braided supply line. We like that. And up here it's just good grip. You don't need to put a wrench on it. Good and tight. And here we go with the inaugural flush. I like it. Well, we got that thing clean. That's beautiful. Got all those hard water stains off of there. I'm going to leave that tape on. We're good with that. Last thing I wanted to mention, a lot of people don't know this, is if you keep the old wax ring, the rubber part, the funnel, these can be reused. There's, you know, like an alternator on a car, there's a core charge. So you can take these back, just put it back in there, put it back in your box, keep your receipt, go back to Home Depot. Lowe's won't do it, but Home Depot's pretty good. Take it back in the box, show it to them with your receipt, and it's only about $1, $1.50, I can't remember, so don't make a special trip, but just throw this back in your car with the receipt, and next time you're downtown, get your dollar back, okay? I said that pretty well wraps it up for today. It took obviously a lot longer than the video does, but you can see pretty much how to do it. It's not that hard. It's a matter of just don't be afraid to try, okay? It's a lot cheaper than a plumber, and good luck with your flush.